My name's Austin. I go under the moniker Dunmore. That's my last name. So I'm a singer, guitarist, songwriter who stopped listening to modern music around the 90s. So a lot of my influences are from the 70s. I grew up on Paul McCartney and the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and a whole bunch of stuff. I worked out my first song at the age of 14, which was Lola by the Kinks. I'd been playing a musical instrument for a couple of years by then, and I already knew major and minor chords, and my ear had already developed well enough for me to work out a song like that. So it's got, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 or 10 chords in it. So I've always had a very fast ear. I like music that's got a bit of a challenge to it, and so I try to write like that as well. I'm not into a lot of modern production tricks. I don't like looper pedals, for example. There's something about it that doesn't resonate for me. So not listening to a lot of contemporary music, it's created some challenges for me. Funnily enough, a lot of what I write about tends to be about the darker side of the human psyche, struggle and difficulty, and even the parts of the human experience that are captured by popular music lyrics. You get a shiver up your spine or something like that. I think that there are systems of thought in the world that have conceptual models of what these experiences are, but like they're not native to the West. So I like to think that this music tradition, modern music, like 20th century onwards, is kind of an intermediary, or it's shamanistic or something. It's a really special tradition to be part of. So my personal artistic style has been very rock-based. It's been guitar bands, and I went through a change a couple of years ago where I started wanting to write more from a singer-songwriter perspective. What drove that was I came up with this goal that I wanted to write the next Hotel California. So why that song? It seems to be one of these songs that people never get tired of. I played it doing an acoustic gig one night, and the whole room came alive. I was expecting it to bomb. Everyone sang along, and I just went, what? If you stop playing the song right at the point where the guitar solo starts, guaranteed someone in the crowd will start kind of doing a kazoo imitation of the guitar solo. There's these haunting lyrics and like a story arc, great metaphors that really speak deeply to the human condition. There's these chord sequences that repeat of like 8 chords at a time, and a lot of pop songs these days are lucky to have 4 or 5 chords to them. When I look back at the 70s, I can pick out like a number of songs that are just like that. They've got an amazing guitar solo, and they've got these chord sequences, and they've got these really haunting lyrics, and like Baker Street and obviously Stairway to Heaven, and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road doesn't have guitar solo, but there's another great story, great melodies. I had to learn to write in a completely different way. It's time for me to step forward with this new musical direction and let everyone know what I've been up to. So I've been a performing musician for over half my life. I was playing in top 40 cover bands when I was 17, so that was still the 80s. I never made the cut over to music as a primary career, so I've always had something else that I've been doing with my time, and music's been an expensive hobby. And part of the problem was that I didn't fit in with what was happening in music at the time. Part of the problem was that I had a chip on my shoulder about the music industry, how they controlled the radio, where music was going. I kept waiting for the tide to turn, and I was going to wait a long time. And anyway, we're in this new age of social connectivity, and what people are starting to learn is that the music industry and the labels don't maybe really know what they're doing after all. There's no such thing as this boardroom of old men with cigars, these music moguls who are calling the shots and dictating how everything is and where everything's going. Actually, everyone's in the dark. There's nobody at the wheel. That was a huge light bulb moment for me. Now that we have access to social networks, there's a chance to do something different. There's a new generation of music entrepreneurs who do want to do things differently and not make the same mistakes that the old traditional industry made. So it's a really exciting time, not just for the industry at large, but also for me personally as a musician. It's time. And I get to try and use this new knowledge in the online world for my own musical vision.